Good morning. It is Sunday, August 11th. My 43rd day on trail, and it's raining. I got to this camp, as I mentioned yesterday, Lava Springs. Ended up staying. It's at mile 403, and I took a little video of my tent in the springs. As I mentioned too, in this, ended up camping with Brian and Michael. They're from Washington, and they were out here doing a section. And Brian was mentioning that he's going to do a big section, maybe half of the PCT next year. So he was kind of out here testing, resupplying and all that. They're going to Trout Lake also. And so I miscalculated my miles somehow. Can't add. I did 15 yesterday, 15 and a half to Lava Springs. And Trout Lake's 20 and a half away. So it's doubtful I will make it today. Well, I wanted to though. But man, it rained. When I got to camp, I set my tent up, it started raining. Had to eat dinner in the rain. Slept good though. It was just a big steady sprinkle all night. And it finally stopped about 6:30 this morning. Just enough to pack up, but everything's wet. Backpack weighs 5 pounds heavier. That's what really sucks. I mean, all my clothes are soaked. Shoes soaked, socks soaked. But that's part of it. It'll dry. But don't know if we're gonna have any views again today. Supposed to have some awesome views of Mount Adams, but it's a total whiteout right now. But maybe it'll clear up. We'll see. I think that's part of the Muddy Fork River, and that's what all this rain has done. It is blowing. It's about 10 o'clock. Been hiking, no, 11 o'clock. Been hiking about 2 hours. Been got 4 miles in. It's since I left the Lava Springs tent site, it's been a steady uphill. It's pretty moderate though, it's not bad. And I just checked, got another 2 miles of it. Then after that, it's pretty much like yesterday. So hopefully I can make some miles. So my game plan is to, I don't know, hike 14, 15. Hopefully dry my tent out. Good Lord, it is like saturated with water. And camp somewhere, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles from Trout Lake. Pick up and try to catch the 9:30 bus into Trout Lake. And I'm not gonna take a day off. I'm just gonna take a knee row, wash my clothes, pick up my box, do my resupply, take a shower, dry everything out, and hit the trail the next day. So that's my game plan. And it's still an ugly day. Cloudy, drizzly. And hey. So as I was saying, a hiker came up. It's been a cloudy, drizzly day. I have crossed paths with, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Hell, I've lost count. At least 10 flippers heading north. They are all over the trail. Met this one cool couple though from Germany. They were probably my age. And they just flipped through the Sierras. And they were telling me about the sections they went through. And they said in Northern California, there's a 200-mile burn section you go through. And he was asking me if I was going to go all the way. I said, yeah. I said, my issue is I need to be at the Sierras by the 15th of September, the northern end, and that's looking doubtful because I'm so far behind because of my ankles. And he recommended, he said, well, if you got to skip something, and he told me the section, he said, you're going to hate it. He said it's day after day after day of just walking through a burn section. And I think he said it was 200 miles of it. So I will keep that in mind if I have to. And he said I could catch a bus. He told me the cities to skip that so I could get to the Sierras in time. Hate to, but like I've said before, my goal is to get through the Sierras, so I'll do what I have to do. And I want to see it September, October. So anyway, I'm going uphill. Well, I got to the top of the mountain. It's about mile 408. And there's a pretty meadow up here. And I hear water running, so must be a little waterfall up here. Looks like there's a pond down there, so must be feeding it. Rain runoff, I'm sure. Well, it's about 12 o'clock. I just caught up with Brian and Michael, who I camped with last night, at the top of the mountain here by that waterfall. They told me there is a spectacular view of Mount Adams. Well, you can't see it now, but it's been over these trees, but of course it's complete white out and you can't see it. So that's a bummer, because I don't think I'm gonna see much today. But yeah, they said they're gonna hike another 5 miles and camp, and they're gonna try to make the 6:30 shuttle tomorrow in the Trout Lake. So I told them if I see them, I'll buy them a beer, because I'm gonna catch the 9:30 so I can have a day to wash clothes and shower and clean up and all that crap dry up. And I don't think I'm gonna take a 0, but you never know. Depends on the feet and ankles. But right now they're feeling pretty good. And I'm ready to get out of Washington, because when I leave Trout Lake, I'll have about 80 miles to get into Oregon and cross the bridge of the gods. So that's the current plan. Well, there's my only view of Mount Adams. I can see like the very base of it. A little patch of snow with that thing. We're real close to it, going right beside it, and I'm not gonna see it because it's in the clouds. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to try to cross right here on that log. Well, that's where I ended up crossing, and let me tell you, I am still shaking. That was nerve-wracking. Oh, that's the way to do it, son. Holy crap. My legs are still shaking crossing that river. The only bad part was the middle. When you got to the middle of those two skinny logs, you couldn't put your trekking poles down anymore. It was too deep. And they shook. So every time you took a step, they were wobbling. Holy crap. A girl went in front of me, and she took forever to get across. And then I went, and then another dude came up, and he did it kind of sideways. That was the way to do it. Instead of trying to walk straight-footed, he walked sideways and had no problem. And it looks like I'm going through a lava field. Hey, you got a view. Lava rock as far as you can see. Man, I wish I could have videotaped that. There was no way I was going to set my camera up and cross that thing again and then back again. Woo! Gave me some confidence though, because those two little logs were skinny. Like I said, if you can get your trekking poles in the bottom of the water, it's no issue for balance, but when you got to the middle of those poles, there was no, plus the water was moving too fast. Every time I tried to put my pole down, it just swept it away. But we made it. Holy crap. Well, last night when I was checking my videos and photos, my good morning video when I left the pond camp, it wasn't there. So I obviously didn't hit record, so I'm going to redo it. That would have been the morning of August 10th, Saturday, day whatever, I think 42 maybe. But it's where I camped at the, across that marsh and went behind that pond, and there was a campsite back in there. So it was one of the best campsites I've had. It was nobody else came in. About 7:30, I heard all this racket. Sounded like hell thunder. And I started hearing voices. Well, I realized it was people on horses, and they were behind my camp. So I guess there's some horse trail back there. And I was afraid they were coming into that camp, but I could hear them for 20 minutes going by. Had to be about 10 horses. So anyway, about 8 o'clock, I get in my tent, and it had been thundering all evening. And all of a sudden, that storm rolled in, and it was a major thunderstorm. It rained from 8 o'clock at night it was sprinkling when I got up in the morning to leave. That's why I got out so late. But excuse the panting, I'm going uphill. But I have never been through a thunderstorm like that. Up here in Washington, those mountains, the lightning would come and it would just light your whole tent up. And then it would thunder and echo for 10 seconds. It sounded like a war zone. And that went on all night long. So needless to say, I didn't get a lot of sleep. And of course, that was the night before last. And everybody I passed or crossed paths with, the northbounders, all, hey, what'd you think of that thunderstorm? Because it was all night long. So anyway, I just wanted to redo that intro. But after I got going, it was sunny when I left the pond. And one of the things I knew was going to happen if it did rain, when I went through that marsh, there was probably, I don't know, 4 or 6 ditches I had to cross. But there was no water in them. That's what fed that pond. Of course, after raining all night, they were full of water. There was nothing I could do but walk right through it. So it was sunny when I left. And of course, my feet are soaked. And it didn't matter because 2 hours later, it started raining. And rained pretty much off and on all day long yesterday. So today, though, as you can see, it's just complete whiteout. The way it's getting more foggy, it means probably it's about to start raining. So anyway, it's about 2 o'clock, and I'm really not making good progress. I got to pick it up. But yeah, we're in this lava section. I guess it's from Mount Adams, whenever it erupted one day. There's just lava rock everywhere. So I'm gonna get to hiking and I'll check in later. Wish it wasn't cloudy today, because this section's very pretty. All these lava boulders everywhere, wildflowers. Just doesn't look pretty with all the fog and mist in the air. All this is runoff from Mount Adams. Crossed about 5 or 6 of these today. Just because, as I mentioned earlier today, we went right by Mount Adams, but couldn't see it. You can see one little snowfield at the bottom. And that was about it. Yeah, this is what you see, all these lava boulders just everywhere. Lava rock everywhere. Look at this. The trail gets rocky like this. It's hard for me to go fast. I gotta watch where I step with these sissy ass ankles right now. So that's why I haven't been making good time. This section's been pretty rocky. You'll have some smooth sections, but then it gets rocky. Here's another little Mount Adams runoff, and it's all cloudy because that's glacier melt. So I mentioned in another video before, that's full of minerals. Like I think I said it before, some hikers won't drink it. I do. You just can't overdo it. Maybe 1 or 2 liters a day. Still walking through the lava field. Ouch. Well, it's about 2:30. I've hiked about 9.5 miles. Started finally misting, and it's not bad, but it's after hiking in it for 5 hours, it's getting cold. My feet are starting to bark because they're cold. They've been in wet socks and shoes for 2 days. And so I'm not sure how many miles I'm going to get today. It's been slow going. I want to do 16, so I only have 4 in the morning to catch the bus, but it's a little rough. Yeah, I must hit, I mentioned several videos ago, a lady told me there was a giant bubble of northbounders, and I must have hit them finally, because I had 20 people, hell, maybe more. And I can tell, you can tell the through hikers versus the section hikers. It's just like a parade of them today. And as I mentioned before, they're just not very social. Because I guess they want to finish their hike, so they're just hiking. They just say hello, how's it going, happy trails, and keep on going. They don't want to stop and chat with the neon tide. So yeah, I was wondering about Brian and Michael at that water crossing back there, because that was tough, man. I'm gonna see him in Trout Lake, so we'll find out. I mean, if worse comes to worse, just walk through it in your shoes, but that water was moving pretty fast. So 9.5. Yeah, it's 2:30. Yeah, I need to hit 16, so man, it's gonna be a long day. I'm ready to get warm, get my tent, my wet, soaking, dripping tent. But my sleeping bag and sleeping clothes are dry, and sleeping socks, that's all that matters. And my pad, so once I lay that in there. Figured out last night how to put a little, I have these loops at the top of my tent inside, and I have a little, I don't know, 8-foot piece of rope. So I strung my rope through it, so I had a little clothesline in there. So tonight I'm gonna put all my socks. Last night I just left them outside. Hell, they were so wet. They were never gonna dry. And tonight I'll hang them up in there. See if I can dry them out a little bit. So back in the forest, the old moss forest. And it is so eerie today because there's no wind. It is completely silent when you're walking. All you hear is your own footsteps. Animals are quiet because of the weather. No bugs. That's a good thing. So anyway, enough blabbing. See you bye. Listen to the silence. Well, I just hit this little clearing. I don't even know what time it is, 3:30. And the sun came out, so I got my tent hanging up, it is just soaked. Everything saturated. See if I can dry it. It needs to come out a little more. But I was talking to this English gentleman, and we chatted for about 3 minutes. He said, I said, man, what, they let the bus out today? And he goes, was a lot of people on trail? I said, you're probably the 30th person I passed. And he said, yeah, he said, it's crazy. He said he did the Washington, Oregon section in 2013, and he might see one person a week. Hell, I can't go an hour. I can't even stop and pee on the trail without somebody walking by. Come on, son. Hopefully to clear up. It'll be nice to get my tent dry because it is just saturated. So anyway, things are looking up. Peace out. Well, going through a little burn section. It's about 3:30. As soon as I got my tent all set up, trying to dry, the sun went away. But I didn't get all the water off of it. It's still damp, but it doesn't have standing water on it. So that's better than nothing, I guess. But I think it is trying to clear up. I'm starting to see through the clouds a little bit. That's gonna be awesome. Because if I set it up and it's dry, it'll just dry out pretty fast. So things are looking up, other than my feet are killing me because it's so cold. But anyway, I'll check in later. What is this? Clear sky? Kinda? Well, it's about 5 o'clock. I've done, I don't know, 14 miles. And I've decided that I'm done, and have been. And there's been plenty of campsites up here on top of this mountain, but there's no water. So I've been hiking the last 2 miles looking for water, but none to be had. So I may have to go down. It's so funny, on the other side, I was crossing water every mile. On this side of the mountain, nothing. Nothing. And yeah, I've passed another 12 northbounders. Talked to one girl, her name was Yard Sale. She was the last one I just passed. She said she was at Trout Lake. Guess she just left today. So I'm looking forward to get there. Probably gonna take a 0. My ankles, both of them are throbbing. I gotta get these things well. It's not fun walking in pain. And I turned my right one a while ago. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at something up trail and I stepped down and turned my right ankle. Not fully, but it's hurting. Lord, I hope they have some, well, there's a grocery store in Trout Creek, so maybe I can get some ankle braces. Because I need them. All right, well, when I find a camp spot, like right there, I would camp right there. No problem, but there's no damn water up here. And I only have a ½ liter. I gotta have at least a minimum 1.5 liters to dry camp. So anyway, I'll let you know when I find some. Look at those blue skies. Woohoo! Yeah, and I decided to go ahead and camp early too, so I can see whatever the hell there is to see over here. Because I haven't seen anything in 2 days. So, well, I made it to mile 420. So I did a 17-mile day. I didn't want to, but there was no water. And there's a spring. I'm not gonna walk down there, but you can hear it probably. It's about, I don't know, 30, 40 yards. Coming right out of the ground. It's actually very good water. But it's not the greatest campsite, but 17 miles and I am done. So we'll look at that wet tent. And guess what? As soon as I start putting it up, it starts sprinkling. We'll see you tomorrow if I can make it.